Just a few days ago, the CEO and creative director of Relooted had come out and said that he was upset he couldn't censor us more. He was upset that Steam didn't allow developers more tools to silence their critics, and this game hasn't gone over well with them. It's had like 30 average players on Steam over the past few days since release, but it looks like it is only going to continue to get worse for them because not only did Sweet Baby Inc. help out with this game, but now Chris Kindred is coming out and attacking people who have criticized this game. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, all of these people are exactly the same. They want to silence those they don't agree with. They want to get people canceled for having opinions they do not also share. And ultimately, Sweet Baby Inc. has been in the news for years at this point because of their own actions. You'd think at this point they would actually learn why people do not like them, but it's just in one ear out the other. And of course, the conversation surrounding Relooted has not been a very positive one for this development team. It is being called extremely racist because, yeah, you're black people who are stealing things. It overall was a really, really bad game. I don't even want to insult video games by calling it one. It's just a piece of propaganda. I did live stream it on the channel, but this just was not a good experience. And instead of listening to the reasons why we thought it was bad, between the cringe humor, the bad graphics, the bad gameplay, the narratives that are being pushed, the history that's being rewritten, well, now apparently we're just incels, and Steam needs to do more to give developers tools to silence the people who they disagree with. So I did talk about this initial thread in another video. It will be linked down below, but somebody had posted on Blue Sky, this is the Steam forum for Relooted, and it's all grave dancing, rightoid, culture war incels. Do you think Valve is ever gonna crack down on this shit? They allow this nonsense to fester on their platform, providing hate mongers a soapbox to spew vile, racist bullshit. Deeply frustrating. There was this long thread where Ben Mearns, the CEO, was talking about how, based on the torrid stuff they mark as not against terms of service, when it's reported, I doubt they have much interest ever addressing this, which is particularly awful considering you can't turn off forums as a developer. Now, just goes to show how little Ben here really understands Steam, because on these Steam forums you can make it so only people who have purchased the game can leave comments and leave threads and actually have these discussions. So that means that only a few hundred people, very maximum, would be able to have this forum be open to them and this platform to be open to them. But apparently he just doesn't know that, which is, I guess, a little bit hilarious because it just goes to show how little they understand Steam as a platform and the Steam forums as a means for people to have discussion. But, I mean, if you are going to lock it down, that means that only a few people will actually be discussing the game on the forums. Now, Chris Kindred, who of course did used to work at Sweet Baby Inc., who did work on this game, has made a statement on the situation. He said, "We're here in this moment explicitly because Steam wouldn't do anything. They didn't do anything about this at the critical moment. Absolute abdication of responsibility." Now, he and Ben, and basically everybody affiliated with this game, are just very upset that they are not able to control us better, that they are not allowed to silence us better, and they are not allowed to censor us better. They want these tools to be in place where they can Thanos snap anybody off of the forum that they do not like the opinion of and that they do not want to listen to. Of course, you would think that they would be like, oh, the more discussion the merrier, even if it is negative discussion, because it is the only interaction that this title is even getting. At this point, the modern audience didn't show up to play this experience, or the few modern audience members actually did, and well, it's just a trash game. You are sitting here saying that you are mad, you can't censor people, and that Steam has some sort of responsibility to put more tools in place so developers can censor their critics. But yet, you guys are the ones who came up with the most racist game I think I have ever played in the history of my life. I have played thousands of video games, and yet this shit is what you thought was going to be acceptable? Really? A bunch of black people stealing? The jokes write themselves here. And Chris Kindred is the person who really started Gamergate 2 and one of the major players behind it. Chris Kindred was the individual who tried to get Cabrutus deplatformed, tried to get DEI detected, or SBI detected as it was known at the time, removed from Steam, and of course that didn't work and the Streisand effect occurred. But Master of the TDS put it perfectly, kind of like how Sweet Baby Inc. refuses to take public responsibility for what you tried to do to Cabrutus. How is the job search going, Chris? People like Chris Kindred, people like Kim Belair, even people like Ben Mearns only have themselves to blame for the backlash that they faced. Maybe if Niam Cop, the developers behind Relooted, didn't work with a Sweet Baby Inc., they wouldn't be facing so much backlash. Maybe if they actually went into this telling history as it was instead of rewriting history to victimize black people, maybe they wouldn't be facing as much backlash as they have been. Maybe if Sweet Baby Inc. dropped off the face of this earth, people wouldn't have a reason to point and laugh at these absolute idiots. Stop making propaganda and you will no longer face backlash. But these people do not listen. They will continue to not listen. And so we're going to point and laugh at them. When they sit here and demand tools to be able to censor people, we are going to fight back against that. We are going to call them out. And they are so bothered by the fact that we will. And all I can say is boo-hoo, cry me a river and float upstream. Dude dodges accountability better than a woman. They think the Steam forums are why the game is flopping? LOL, sure. Many don't even go into the forums unless it's for something like asking if a game works on Steam Deck. That game doesn't even have bad reviews, and they're still crying. Yeah, if I see a game that I think looks really cool, I'm just going to buy it. I'm not going to go to the Steam forums, and I'm not going to sit and engage in conversation. No. The Steam forums are not the reason why the game is failing, and ultimately, you only have yourselves to blame for the fact that nobody thought that this looked cool. I had so much fun on the forum before I got banned for a month. By the way, see that Hey Fellow Cheds thread? I made it. Oof. Yeah, 9 playing 41 minutes ago, and here is the updated player count. All-time peak 5 days ago was 57, 24-hour peak is 46, and in-game right now on a Sunday afternoon is 34. So it's not looking too good for them, and it's no surprise to see why the people behind this game, whether they are at Sweet Baby or they were one of the few developers, actually are lashing out. It's because they're making no money, they're not going to have a job in a few weeks, and they want to play the victim. I honestly think that's the reason why they haven't changed the Steam discussions to owners only, because then they could not play the victim anymore, and they want as many victimhood points as possible. So I'll be keeping an eye on Relooted. The game came, the game went, the few people who wanted to buy it did. A few people got a few good memes out of it, but now Sweet Baby and these developers are melting down, and they are upset by the fact that we are pointing and laughing at this pile of trash. But that's all that I had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.